My pulse quickened. The alien languages we'd studied were nearly impossible to reproduce with human tongues, yet she spoke mine, hesitantly but clearly. "Who are you?" I demanded, standing. "How did you get in here?" She blinked slowly, as though confused by my suspicion. "I am alone. Cold. The storms hurt my kind. I thought maybe here is safe." I kept the plasma cutter steady, though my arm trembled. Contact with Callistan natives was rare. Most kept to the deep jungles, away from our settlements. A few months ago, a scouting team claimed to have seen one watching from the trees, but no one believed them. And now, here she was, standing in my room, asking for something as absurd and strangely intimate as to share my bed. "You can't be here," I said. "If the others find out." Her eyes widened with something like fear. "No others. Just you. Please." Something in her tone disarmed me. I should have raised the alarm, but instead I found myself lowering the cutter. She didn't seem dangerous. Fragile even. I gestured to the bunk. "Fine. But only for tonight. Tomorrow we figure out what to do." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. She crossed the room silently, as though floating, and settled onto the edge of the bed. She curled her legs beneath her, watching me with unreadable eyes. I turned away, heart racing. What in the void had I just agreed to? The middle. That night I couldn't sleep. She lay only a few feet away, her breathing soft, almost inaudible. The strange fabric she wore glowed faintly in the dark. Every time I glanced over, I found her golden eyes studying me. "Why me?" I whispered finally. She tilted her head. "You are different." I watched. Others fear. "You listen. You've been watching me." She nodded, unashamed. "Many cycles. You walk alone. You speak to plants. You hum songs when rain falls. You are lonely." I swallowed hard. She wasn't wrong. Life on Callista IV was isolating. Most colonists formed tight groups, leaving little space for outsiders. I had buried myself in my research, avoiding connections that might be severed if the colony failed. "What's your name?" I asked. Her brows furrowed, as though the concept was strange. "Name hard in your tongue. Call me Saria." "Saria," I repeated. The word felt soft, delicate. For the next hours we talked. She explained in fragmented sentences that her people lived deep in the jungles, hidden from human eyes. They were sensitive to the storms that rolled across the continent, storms that brought electric discharges lethal to her kind. Saria had wandered too close to our settlement, caught unprotected when the storm began. Desperate, she followed the lights until she reached my outpost. "You could have asked anyone," I said. She shook her head. "Not anyone. Only you. Others carry weapons always. You carry pen." I couldn't help but laugh softly. "A pen won't save you from much." "It saved me tonight," she whispered. Something shifted between us in that moment. The fear I'd felt was replaced by curiosity. And something warmer, something I didn't dare name. Days turned to weeks. The next morning I expected her to leave. Instead she returned. Night after night, she slipped into my quarters as silently as the rain, curling beside me on the bunk. Sometimes we spoke for hours, piecing together each other's worlds with halting words and gestures. Sometimes we simply lay in silence, the presence of another being enough to banish the loneliness. I learned that her people were telepathic. They could sense emotions, though not always interpret them correctly. She confessed she was drawn to me because my emotions felt calm. "Your mind is stormless," she said once. In turn, I told her about Earth, about oceans and cities, about music and books. She listened with rapt attention, her eyes reflecting light like stars. But our secret meetings couldn't last forever. One evening, as she slipped into my room, the corridor lights flared on. A fellow colonist, Lieutenant Harris, turned the corner and froze at the sight of her. His shout echoed down the hall. "Alien! We've got one inside." Saria's eyes widened with terror. She bolted into my quarters, and I slammed the door shut. Outside, boots pounded against the floor as the alarm klaxons wailed. "They'll take me," she whispered, voice trembling. "They'll cut me open. Please, human, help me." For a moment, I stood frozen between duty and instinct. My orders were clear: report all contact with natives. But looking into her eyes, filled with fear and trust, I knew what I had to do. "Follow me," I said. The flight. We escaped through maintenance tunnels beneath the outpost, the sounds of soldiers searching above us. I led her past storage units and hydroponics labs, heart hammering. The storm outside still raged, lightning tearing across the sky, but it was safer than staying. At the jungle's edge, she paused, trembling. "Storm will kill me." "Then we wait." I pulled her close beneath an overhang, shielding her as best I could. Hours passed as the storm howled. I felt her body shiver against mine, fragile as glass. When dawn finally broke, she led me into the jungle. For the first time, I saw her world through her eyes. Towering trees that glowed with bioluminescent veins, rivers of liquid crystal, creatures with wings like sails drifting overhead. It was breathtaking. Her people found us before long. They emerged silently from the foliage. Tall, silver-skinned figures with eyes like hers. They regarded me warily, their emotions a wall I couldn't breach. But when Saria stepped forward and spoke in their tongue, they hesitated. Finally, one elder approached me. He placed a hand over his chest in a gesture I assumed meant thanks. "You saved her," Saria translated softly. "They will not harm you." I nodded, though part of me knew this was goodbye.